So we actually got to recently get out of the office and work with HydraWrap ourselves. So we got to install it. I got to actually put it on some stuff and, get out sort of in the field and do it. So, we have to prep the pipe itself, make sure the surface is clean, but also it has enough texture to it that it can adhere. And then you cover the whole surface in a high build primer. And then you wet out the actual fabric itself with a low viscosity, non-pigmented resin blend, which will then later dry and basically the hardness and the shape to the fabric when it's applied.
You mentioned that for these kits, it's only with use of common hand tools. So how would you control for weight to resin ratio of the wet layup carbon fiber to ensure adequate saturation of the material?
Yeah, so the kits that we spoke about, the epoxy is pre-measured, so it does avoid any use of scale. It's what we call a one-to-one from a container. So you have the appropriate hardener and resin measured out. There is on the technical data sheets, there is a ratio for applying the wet out to the fabric. That can be verified in the field with a scale. Calculating, you should know based on how much fabric you're using, how many grams of weight that would be involved in the saturation of the fabric. For larger jobs, we obviously provide that as well as far as what the ratio should be.
I have two questions. One, what kind of preparation do you have to have on whatever it is that you're wrapping? Does it have to be like steel? If it's steel, does it have to be sandblasted? What do you have to do to prepare before wrapping?
Yeah, so like any coating, surface prep is critical. And yes, if you're going to look at our tech data sheets, it's going to mention abrasive blasting on steel surfaces. Not to say that all projects can do that. There are hand tools, power hand tools that can provide a sufficient profile, but your longer service life is going to be achieved with the better surface prep, and if you can abrasive blast, that would be preferred. Obviously, it's not conducive to all repairs, especially small point repairs, but there are tooling out there that can provide a very similar profile to what abrasive blast is doing.
Understood. And the second question, what is the cure time back when you can put something back into service?
So if it's a through wall defect, we typically recommend 24 hours before you're applying it, pressure back onto the pipe. Obviously, one of the advantages of these, if you've got internal corrosion or just have problems with certain piping from external corrosion, but you do not have any active leaks, you certainly can apply the carbon fiber while you're in service and pressurize. In fact, that actually helps reduce the amount of layers if you are applying it to a pressurized system. But as far as cure times, the epoxies typically at your ambient temperatures of all the testings done at 68 degrees Fahrenheit, you have about 20-minute work time on the epoxy systems and a tack-free time of about 4 hours. Those two times will obviously fluctuate whether or not it's ambient temperatures are colder or lower in that regards. And as we mentioned, all these systems that we briefly talked about are all ambient cure with the exception of the high temp system. That does require a post cure to achieve its ultimate physical properties.
Understood. Thank you.